Ashlea, the Orange Lady, here to give you the juice you need to build and sustain your career. That's right, I have experience in tech, nonprofit, and the public sector, lots of it, and I've made mistakes along the way so that you don't have to. Today we're going to talk about the social part of your job. But let me give you some ASMR first. A little water, ice water, because we're parched. You know why we're parched? Because we've been socializing at work. And you might think, oops, sorry, a little piece of ice came out there. You might think, actually, why do we have to talk about socializing at work? It is so annoying. And I see you, my introverts and my ambiverts. I think that's the word, ambiverts. Somebody help. Okay, I see you. I know this is painful. I completely get it. Even though I show up on the interwebs and I make content and engage with folks one-to-one and in groups a lot, I actually am not as extroverted as a lot of people think. I actually have bursts of it and I can turn it on and I enjoy it in small batches and with small groups of people. If you try to take me to a networking event, I want to sit in a corner and run away because I can't stand it. But the reality is that the social aspect is a part of your job and going to help you, okay? So let's reframe this as like something we hate and is uncomfortable to something that we know we need to do. So let's find a way to make it as least awkward, a little more comfortable at least as possible. There's a couple of different aspects. I want to take this from you work remote, right? And you maybe never see your team or you only see them occasionally, maybe for like quarterly meetups or monthly meetups, something like that. That time, if you are that remote worker, that's me, right? Let me tell you how I prepare for those in-person meetings and time in the office. I completely, at least a few days before, I try to schedule nothing. I try to have time alone. I try to have time at home so that I can feel like collected, calm, that I have had time to myself. And it's kind of the mental preparation of like, okay, here we go. You know you have to be on. Like this time, whether it's one day, maybe it's a full week, you have to be on and you know it. You go into it like it's a marathon, right? Or maybe each day is the 5K, but you have to finish it. Now, a part of that is also what happens after hours. If I had $5 for every time somebody texted or DM'd me about like, help, I have this social event that I have to do for fun, but it's mandatory. I love that because nothing says fun like mandatory. How do I navigate this? I really don't want to go. Do I have to go, Ashlea? Yeah, you do. Well, you know what? Let me reframe that. You don't have to go, but there are consequences if you don't go. So here's a few things that I do when I know I'm going to have to be on. I look at the week schedule, and then I pick out the most important things that I think are there to show up to, right? Because it may not be that I have to go to everything, but I do need to be in the spaces and places where the important people are, right? Or the colleagues that I work with, or maybe someone I've been trying to meet and I can get a few minutes with them in a more casual setting. So I look at that and I am strategic about it. I also am very clear with the people that I'm closest with, my team, that I don't need a team dinner every night. And we have kind of set that norm. Like, we have a team dinner when we are together, but it's not an expectation every night. And then generally some people will have onesies, twosies, well, I guess not onesies, but twosies or threesies of little, like, going to get dinner or drinks or coffee chats. But outside of the full group having to attend, right? It makes it so much nicer too when you can feel comfortable, right? I know not everyone is comfortable expressing those needs. Here is a funny story about the first time I met my current boss. We were meeting in Nashville. Neither one of us lives there. And it was Monday morning. We were having coffee, sitting on the 17th floor, like just chatting, really getting to know each other. My boss has high EQ, so really cares about getting to know like his team personally so that he can support us. And we are talking, and we had dinner reservations that evening. Go to dinner, great. It was a loud space. We could barely hear each other. It was not that fun because it was so loud and we didn't know each other well enough to just kind of like know the context of what each person was saying. So the next day, Tuesday, go through the day. We are staying at the same hotel. Come back, he's like, hey, do you want to do dinner tonight? And I said, no, no, I do not. This was also one of my first trips post, like office opening back up, post, we're still in a pandemic, but you know what I mean. And one day in the office and a dinner, 2 days in the office, I needed time to recoup. And I said, this is like incredible, but I'm also really exhausted. I need to recoup so that I can make it through the rest of the week. Now, he is a cool boss. He was like, understood, see you in the morning. And there was not a single hint of like, oh, you don't like, he didn't take it personally because he has, I don't know, high self-esteem. If your boss takes it personally, if you're like, no, I don't want to have drinks with you or get dinner because we just did that last night and I'm tired, that's their problem. That doesn't mean it won't have consequences for you, but just want you to know that that's their own issue. So getting to a point where you can have those team norms so that you can choose and opt in and opt out, but you're being strategic about it. So now let's go to those of you that maybe never stopped going to the office, or those of you that maybe just got announced that you have to go back 3 days a week, 2 days a week, or somewhere in between 0 and 5. I guess it would be 1 and 5. And you are devastated, right? Because there are certain benefits that we all now enjoy, right? Like, you have no idea what pants I am wearing, if I'm wearing the same ones, if I washed my hair, or if it's dry shampoo, or if I'm actually listening to a meeting that I'm not contributing in and doing the dishes. You don't know, but now you do. Okay, so how I want folks to think about it if you are in the office more. It is tiring. I understand that. So there's certain things that I want you to do to be kind to yourself. You need to be able to set certain days that you're able to have social time in the office, right? And set some parameters like, hey, I have, open office hours, or I do coffee chats on Thursdays when I'm in the office in the afternoon. That way there's time that people know, they can go to your calendar, they can book, and you also can mentally prepare for, okay, this is my day that I'm having lots of onesies, twosies, coffee chats with people. And then on those days that you're in the office, you're having to be more social maybe than you would prefer, and I want you to do something for yourself afterwards. If you can, order dinner for yourself. If you can, if you have a partner, ask your partner, like, hey, these days of the week are so much harder for me. I'm really tired. Can we do some meal prep, or can you, make dinner those nights? Maybe you have a good friend or colleagues that you're able to kind of swap with and do that. Maybe you are just figuring out ways that you can get your nutrition and chill without it being another task you have to do after work, right? I completely understand the like, I just want to be home and in my space and not have to take on another task. Like, let's not like ignore the fact that that is something that you might need to do. So I want you to also talk to your friends like, hey, how do you balance like having all the energy to get up and go to the office and balance having the energy and time you need to do the things, adulting things that you are obligated to do as well, right? I'm looking at you parents, I'm looking at you, right? How are you making sure that if you're returning to the office and you have little ones or big ones at home that demand and deserve your time and attention, right? How are you making sure that you still have time for you to recoup? Because you're on and on, right? And that off time depends on what time bedtime is, and you better hope that they're not sick, because I know they go to daycare or school and germs everywhere. Yeah, children are the worst. Just kidding. Shout out to my favorite children, Peter, Jane. That's all I can think of for right now. That's terrible. I'm sorry, Cooper. I know I'm forgetting some children that I should not be forgetting. Okay, if you're a remote worker, we're going to be strategic about the things that we do attend when we are together as a group. And we're going to figure that out, and we're going to prepare for it. If you are going to the office more often, 1 to 5 days a week, you are going to look at the things that you have to do, your adulting things in your life or your parenting things that you have to do, and you are going to make sure that you have a system set up so that you still have time, downtime to yourself for whatever you consider self-care, right? That could be binging something on Netflix. Shout out also to my housewives, people, I know you're listening. Or it could be that you treat yourself to a delicious meal that just gives you comfort, right? It could be your favorite, like Prosecco, Purple Label, Costco. Don't sleep on it. Okay, I hope this kind of helps you think about being a little more strategic instead of just kind of going through the grind every week and not stepping back and thinking about things that you can change and do that you control to maintain, like, you know, not feeling depleted and exhausted and not having anything to give to the people, your friends and family that you love and care about, and yourself. You love yourself too. Okay, I'm Ashlea, the Orange Lady. This is the Squeeze Podcast. And if you're not following on Instagram or YouTube or anywhere that the pod is, find me somewhere else too. Like, let's make this official. Okay, talk soon. Bye.